How's the team feeling after the win over West Virginia?
Well, I think winning always makes everything a little bit better, especially after losing. I don't even know what it was, and I genuinely don't care right now. But no, I was happy for them because I think we've been close in a lot of them, and I'm glad we made plays to pull it out at the end. And the good thing is we had a chance today to show everybody like the little things they did to make the difference in the end. So I'm happy for our guys. I think they've worked hard and earned it. But at the same time, I've told them that doesn't mean anything now. It's over. On to the game tomorrow.
That was the fewest points you've allowed all season. I guess just defensively, kind of where are you seeing the development? How would you kind of assess on that end?
No, it's something, we've struggled with for a good portion of the year, different aspects of it. I think that could have been our best rebounding game from start to finish too. And I think just making an emphasis of it, and that was the difference at the end of the game. We struggled offensively, but we made the plays. Sadu had the block, got the rebounds. But yeah, that's what'll always give you a chance. So just trying to make it more of an emphasis and a priority for us.
What about Sadu's progress and just kind of how he's growing and developing? How would you kind of assess that this year?
It was interesting because we talked about it, since the last game, but can't say enough about him. I think he's come a long way, and just with we talked about his hands, that block at the end, like that was something at the beginning of the year that he wouldn't have had his hand up, and you foul, go for the steal. But no, I think he's as much as anybody, if not the most, like he's stayed the course, and I think he's really played through bumps and bruises, but can't say enough about Sadu. And I think he's one of the guys where the rest of the group will kind of follow the lead.
You credited him for taking on the challenge of defending Honor Huff, and that. What does that say about kind of his mentality, his leadership, and what he's capable of on that end of the floor?
No, I think he is capable of it. Like he plays hard. You just got to add the mind to it, and it's the first time we've kind of done that. But he took the challenge on, and I said this. It's interesting because when the message to the rest of the guys, it's fascinating how if you throw yourself into like, what's my job on that end of the floor, how things loosen up for you offensively. It's probably one of his better defensive games. Put him on, Huff, but then offensively, he was, he made shots, and it's amazing how they connect. But going back to the earlier question of emphasizing defense, it makes everything else easier, I think.
Has he become more of a leader for you this season? Because it seems like, as you mentioned, he was bought in, he took on the challenge, and he stayed the course. Do you feel like he's emerged as a leader?
Yeah, I think he has. I mean, and again, you'd rather have most of the leadership come from your team, but yeah, he's stayed the course. That's a good way to describe him, because I think he's, like I said, the one guy who's played through some bumps and bruises, never doesn't want to sit out, and never, he doesn't care about the last few games, but yeah, I think he generally wants to win and will do whatever it takes to do it.
These last couple of weeks you've played Houston, West Virginia, a couple of the better defensive teams, not only in the Big 12 but in the country, efficiency-wise. When it comes to being able to, stress with them the importance of the defensive end of the side of things, does it make it a little bit more beneficial for you to be able to say, see this against, we played these guys and this is how it's kind of with them? Does it help you?
No, I love it. I love it to be able to, after the game, say, see, I was right. You can't argue with me. But yeah, no, it's pretty simple because, you can't control, a lot of things. I've told them a few times, Katie had that wide open shot at the end of the game against Cincinnati, and great shot, right? You can't always control it. Everybody in the room would take that shot over again. But the defensively, on the defensive end, that's the things that I think you have the most control over. Can I block out? Can I get a hand up? Can I run back on defense? And again, it's a good. And being in the Big 12, you look at all the good teams at the top there; they're really good defensively. And you watch the last 3 or 4 minutes of a Big 12 game; it's a slugfest, and it's rebounding and defense.
Just from looking ahead at UCF, this is one of the better offensive teams out there scoring-wise. They're pretty balanced. I think 4 different players that are averaging double figures. Just kind of what's the focus going into this one?
I think it's kind of the more of the same. I think, you know, they've got a really good point guard, great passing point guard. Fultz, he averages, I mean, he's great. He shoots, I think, 10 times a game, scores 14 points, and has 7 assists. Like, it's very efficient. And he's a great passer. He'd be fun to play with. But yeah, they're older, they're mature. They've had some big wins, most likely headed for the tournament. But again, it's about us, more of the same. Like, we got to get back. And, you know, they really, you know, I sound like a record, you've heard it before, but we can't have the turnovers those live ball turnovers that turn into buckets for them, because then they get going. But especially at home, I think we need to do it. You know, come out like we did against West Virginia. And I think a lot of it has to do with defense. But no, they're good, and it's just more of the same about us, but with a few wrinkles in it.
Where do you feel like this group has improved the most up to this point in the season, and what do you hope to see over these final 5 games from the group?
I think the biggest improvement, has come with rebounding, like just more of a consistent effort to it. Defensively, I think guys are, you know, thinking about that a little bit more. And I think offensively, just using each other, like how to score or how to space or how to run offense without the ball, which is a hard thing, kind of a lost art with kids nowadays. And I think that we're getting better at that, but that's the things that we'd like to get better on. But rebounding, I think we've in transition defense, I think we've improved on.
You picked up a commitment on Sunday from an international player. How beneficial is it to have somebody like Wes that can basically just dedicate their time to recruiting and roster construction?
No, it's huge. I mean, there was a lot to learn for me, but I knew when I took the job, like that's where it's going. Like, you need somebody that's dealing with the roster every day. And and again, like if you wait till the April to start doing that, it's probably most of the work's been done. So, you know, he's kind of led that effort, and I think we have a much better grasp on how it works. I mean, nobody knows how, you know, where it's going, but yeah, it's invaluable to have a guy like Wes here doing it every day.
It was definitely a great experience for us, great road trip for us. We got to learn a lot about each other. Just on and off the court, I think just staying together and just sticking to the things that, like, we've been preaching since the summertime, I think really led us to getting that win against West Virginia.
That actually reminds me, of something that Alex talked about before this trip. He was just saying that sometimes when you get these longer trips, that you get a bit of a better chance for the guys to kind of just get a little bit more chemistry, more time together. How did you see that part of it going?
Yeah, like I said, I think like this, it was 6 days. I think just being on this trip for this long period of time got us to like really lock in on certain things and, you know, just talk to each other more. I think we just kind of connected with each other more, and yeah, lots of good things.
Coach credited you for taking on the challenge of defending Hunter Ruff. You ended up, I think, with 9 defensive stops according to like the analytics and all that. What was your mindset kind of taking on that challenge?
My mindset going into this game is kind of the same thing going into every game, just kind of stopping the best player. You know I'm capable of just guarding the best player every night, but this game, Coach Martin, Coach Chill, Coach Eric Daniels was like, yo, we need you to stop this guy. He's the head of their snake, so I, got to chop that off. So I had a good time stopping him.
How would you just kind of assess where the team is kind of building together at this point in the year, with 5 games left in the regular season? Because obviously, not as many wins as you'd hope, but I think if you look at it over these, especially these last few weeks, that things are going in a positive direction.
So like the last recent games we had, we was like neck and neck with the teams we've been playing against. So I think the next 5 games we're just gonna take it game by game. I think like I preach to the team every time before the game. It's the little things that's just gonna get us over the hump. Just rebounding, boxing out, diving on the floor. So I think we just take each game one by one. We should be in a good place.
Coach talked about when you focus on the defensive end of the floor, it kind of just allows your offensive game to just happen.
Yes,
over the last, I think, 4 weeks or so, your production and impact on both ends of the floor has really increased. How do you feel? Like, what do you feel about embracing the defensive stuff first and then just kind of allowing the offense to flow and happen, whatever happens. What are your thoughts on that?
It makes me feel great. I can help the team on both ends of the floor. When I'm able to get stops, dive on the floor, guard the best player, get a block, it makes it easier for me on offense, I feel like. So, just stopping the best player, it makes me feel good. So I think that just makes me allows me to be good on my offense and just focus on doing my best ability.
Is it like a pride thing? That Houston game, I remember, what's his name? The shooting guard for Houston. Anyways.
Sharp?
Yeah, Sharp.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Sharp. He talked about like the pride that they have on the defensive end of the floor. Like, do you feel that kind of
Yeah, I think it's definitely a pride thing. You never want your man to score on you, so it's like definitely a pride thing. And you just want to stop your man at all times. So yeah.
When you get a chance to play teams like Houston, West Virginia, and there's a lot of teams in the Big 12 that are some of the best defenses in the country. Knowing that you want to have that defense first mentality, how does that kind of help to be able to play against some of these best defenses?
I feel like what helps us playing against the best defenses is, watching film on them, knowing where you should attack from, knowing where they, what's the word for it? Knowing where they help at, so just those little things is doing off the court help you play against those best teams, good defenders, actually. Yeah.